Pittsburgh Police Department's very first comfort puppy hit the water this weekend. You know Zane, we had him here with us on PTL. Here he is now wearing his own personal flotation device as he helps patrol the point on the river rescue boat. Zane is reminding boaters to always wear their life vests. But what about dogs? Should they wear flotation devices while boating? It's just one of the many questions that we have for veterinarian Dr. Mike Hutchinson today about summer safety.
Yeah, and Dr. Mike, great to be with you today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
I know you get a lot of questions about this and animals and pets around the water. What can you do to keep them safe?
So that's one of my favorite things to recommend is a life vest for dogs. And people think that's crazy, but look, the police department's doing it too. So they get in the river and there's currents and they can get taken out and they get exhausted. I mean, deer that are good swimmers can get exhausted trying to cross a river. So having a life vest will save their lives. And and that was developed by a young man whose two dogs died while swimming. And they were bird dogs that were used to the water and they drowned. So it was one of those things that we didn't think about a lot years ago, but now I tell people, get a life vest for your dog.
Well,
Be
it's
safe.
a good reminder too. I know you've talked before about bacteria that can be in lakes that can be particularly harmful to dogs if they enjoy swimming.
Good memory. The scum that you see on the lake sometimes, and green, bluish scum. Don't let your dog swim in that. It's a toxin, and unfortunately to us too, we shouldn't be swimming in that as well. And if they drink it, it's even worse. But it can absorb through their skin. It can get in their lips and in their gums, and it can absorb. So I always tell people, when you see that, don't let your dog swim in it.
Well, a lot of questions about food. And with summer cookouts, we know that there will be scraps and there will be some things dogs are going to try and get to. But we also had questions about, is it safe to eat avocados and peanuts, things like that?
So avocados is a good question. Everybody loves avocados right now. And I'm going to give advice to dog and cat owners. A little bit is okay of the fruit, but that pit can cause an obstruction in a dog especially. Cats don't usually eat the pit, but dogs will. They'll swallow it and then it becomes a surgical bill. So keep that away from. A little bit's okay, but you don't want to give too much. For bird owners, avocado can kill them. So we don't want bird owners to be feeding. So I don't give that recommendation to all pets. Peanuts are safe, but in moderation. And, you know, I like peanut butter. Dogs like peanut butter. We use it for treats a lot of times. And now we know that some of the peanut butters have the sugar-free sweetener in called xylitol. That's extremely toxic to dogs. If you see an XYL on that ingredient label, stay away from it. Don't give it to your dog because it can cause their blood sugar to crash and it can hurt their liver and can end up in death. So it's very serious. So although peanuts seem safe, I give that warning with that.
Okay. Yeah. Now, we have a lot of questions from viewers too. A lot of people with a lot of great questions, including, we'll start with this one. This is from a viewer, our 8-year-old cattle dog. So Dora has become a really picky eater. We give good dry food and she always ate that food. Any reason to now be alarmed that she's not eating it or wanting it?
Well, if she stopped eating altogether, I'd say you need to see your veterinarian on that one. Of course, that's just common sense. If it's becoming picky and it seems to not want that food, maybe you can try. Around 8 years of age is a good time to switch into the senior food. It's a little higher in protein, less fat, but it helps them maintain their muscle as they get older. And sometimes that's all the change you need is change, same brand, or, you know, if you're feeding, say, Purina or whatever, stick with Purina, but go to their senior diet. It's a different life stage, tastes a little bit different, and it won't cause diarrhea and things like that when you stay with the same brand.
I always think, like, could you imagine having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every single day for every meal of the day?
You know, that's what everybody does, though. We call that anthropomorphizing. We're putting our mind into the dogs. And I know, that's what we do. Don't do that. They're creatures of habit. So they will eat the same food every day for the rest of their life if we allow them to. It's us that messes them up usually. And when I hear dogs getting picky, and I don't know about Dora's owners, some people swear to me that they don't do this, and then somebody finally, you know, confesses that they're giving treats on the side, and then guess what they do? They train us. They say, all right, I like those treats better, and that's not complete nutrition, so try not to do that.
Okay, so this is a serious question. One viewer said that her dog had a seizure 4 years ago, 2 seizures, has been fine ever since, but now all of a sudden had another one, and they don't want to put the dog on medication.
Well, neither do I, and I don't think any veterinarian wants to. If that were my dog, so think about it, 4 years ago had 2 seizures. Had it been on medication ever since, people would think, oh, the medicine's working, and it didn't really need the medicine. So usually what we do is we do some blood tests and things to make sure everything's okay inside the body, of course, and do a physical. If everything's okay, then we will say, let's keep a calendar of events and see if there's more seizures that occur. If they occur, then we might consider medication. A lot of these dogs, as they get older, will have more frequent seizures, and they'll last longer, and then we might need to medicate. But I call it keep a calendar of events. Write it on the calendar. What happened around that? Did they just eat a few hours before? Were they sleeping? And that helps the veterinarian when they look at that calendar to determine whether that dog should be put on medication.
Okay. Good advice, Dr. Mike.
There. And we have a few more to get to. We have one, two, and this is Kevin. When I come home, Kevin greets me.
This is me.
Oh, this is you.
Kevin.
This is my Kevin.
Oh, well, Heather says.
I tried to sneak in my own question.
Yeah, good.
So Kevin always greets Heather when she comes home.
Yeah.
It's gentle, but he does a little nibbling. Does it alarm other people? Why is he doing this? What does the behavior mean?
And I also told you he's a hugger too. He
Yeah.
puts his paws up on me.
And he likes to hug you.
Yeah, gives kisses, but there's a lot of greeting that takes place when we get home.
I see. Well, so a lot of times, so puppies and dogs, as they get older, they explore the world with their nose and their mouths. And so it's very normal for them to approach people with their nose and their mouth. Now, if I'm a stranger to your house and I come in and he's nibbling at my hand, I'm getting a little bit uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's what you don't want to happen.
Right.
You know he's not hurting you. But this is why I tell people be careful with tug of war and things like that with your dogs, because they have to learn not to bite. And as they get older, we have to train them away from that. And so what I would recommend is maybe let's change that behavior. And instead, when he greets people, he should sit there until you introduce him. And you have to do that sometimes putting a short leash on him, stepping on the leash when they come to the door, rewarding him for that behavior, and turn it into a positive experience.
I see.
And we do it over and over and over, and just teach him proper behavior. And biting isn't the proper behavior,
No.
even nibbling, because they don't sometimes, they want to pull, they play tug of war, it's fun, and when they pull on your hand, they can end up puncturing.
Right.
So we don't want that to happen. So.
All right, so we have some training to do.
We have some
Thanks,
training.
Dr. Mike. But
You're
the
welcome.
hugging is okay?
The hugging I love.
All right, okay.
And I don't blame your dog for wanting to hug you, so there you go.
So sweet. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mike. And for more of his helpful advice for pet owners, you can visit him at his practice, Animal General, in Cranberry Township, and watch for him as a regular PTL contributor. You'll also find him on his KDKA radio show and his own podcast as well. Thanks again.